The Tao of Self-Confidence, episode 820. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello, friend. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share amazing stories of Asian women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap Chan, and today I have a phenomenal Asian Women Who Boss Up co-author. She is known as the #1 money magnet activator and the human MRI, and I'm really excited to have her on, share with us today about the book and why she's so excited that is coming out. And so without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Vivian S. de Guzman. Vivian, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Great. Thank you, Sheena, for having me here as your guest. I started out as a holistic physical therapist, and then I found my way doing human MRI, assessing people's bodies and energies to see how they can master their energy and eventually master their life. And then they call me lately the #1 money magnet activator because I'm able to see any kind of money blocks that they have that's preventing them from really truly living their true and authentic self as an empowered business owner. So that was my background, a little bit of medical, a little bit of business, and put together, it's amazing.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And Vivian, what's your cultural background?
I am Filipino.
Thanks for sharing that. And how does the model minority myth hurt Asian women as a whole?
Well, when we first come here, I came here in 1991, I believe. Oh, wait, no, I can't remember when I came here to America, but it's been a while. As a physical therapist, I was recruited back home because I wanted to have a better life, right? But then it almost felt like, you're not part of the majority, either because of color, because of some of the cultures that we have. So sometimes you get scared to come out, so to speak. So even when I started bringing myself out as having these special gifts and talents as a human MRI, literally felt like I was naked. You know how, because you have to bring out your authentic self. And then the first thing in my head is, well, who's going to believe me that I can really see that body? And so when we have those confidence issues, it doesn't really make us stand out, right? So that's #1. #2 is Asians. We're pretty quiet. Seems like we have this model of, everybody else is above us, like either your parents or maybe other authorities in the field. So then that also holds us back from coming out. But I think I have this anyway when I was growing up. It's like almost scared to come out, like a snail, right? Like the head has to come out slowly. And then when you feel like, okay, I'm safe and I can actually help more people, that's when I started coming out.
Thanks for sharing that. It's so true, right? Like our upbringing really, shapes what type of person we're supposed to be instead of what type of person we want to be. And like imposter syndrome is huge, right? We're all guilty of it, right? We always feel like, are we enough? Do we feel like this is all fake, or who's going to listen to me? There's someone out there who's doing it better than me. But we have to realize like each and every one of us is different and we're here for a reason. And we have certain skills and talents that nobody else has in the world. And why is creating a stronger representation of Asian women so important for you?
Well, for me, being a role model, not only for my children, right, but for other Asian women out there, maybe they're doubting themselves, they have some form of a fear or some insecurity. I think it is very important that some of us who have already overcome a lot of obstacles here in America so that we can lead as good examples for our children and also for other Asian women.
Thanks for sharing that. And how does it feel being that representation for so many Asian women in the world?
So sometimes my perfectionism comes out, right? But then when I'm in a place really of, okay, if God gave us this special talent and skill, and this could actually be a vehicle for me to help others, then I'm doing a better job if I come out in the open and help those and offer help for those who wanted some help rather than me hiding in my little shell.
Thanks for sharing that. And can you share one reason as to why every Asian woman needs to read this book?
Yes, Asian women who boss up, right? So a lot of us, we call it Asian sisters. We have formed a bond and we were able to showcase our skills and talents in a way that every single one that truly relate to this, not just any Asian woman, but it could be any cultural background, and maybe they're having those fears and doubts that I was mentioning before. Maybe they just need that one story, that one thing that they need to read or they need to learn so that they can actually come out of their shell and help humanity. Because when you actually shine your light on your gifts and your talents, you become like a beacon of light, and then the right people, the right clients connect with you somehow. So it's more like building each other up and creating this community where there's cooperation and collaboration rather than competition. So this book really put that together, wherein a lot of us came together to bring out the best that we have to offer and then share it with the world.
Thanks for sharing that. That's so true, right? We definitely need more women role models, especially Asian women role models, because we're still so underrepresented. And this is why we wanted to create this book, to really help other women, no matter from what background, realize their potential, and maybe even men, right? We never know. I mean, if there's any men listening out, I'm sure that it can help them as well. So thanks for sharing that. And what can readers gain from reading your story?
So my story is because of all of these insecurities and fear and doubt, I actually experienced a TIA, or a warning sign of a stroke, when I had my fourth child. So that was my first C-section. And I believe that was my pivotal moment wherein because it's either I die, I had two choices, right? Either I die or I become disabled very young. And that was like a big 2x4 for me, that I had to wake up and make a different choice than what I was doing before. Because in my head, I had this story of I wasn't good enough. So, well, when you have, my background in the academia is I was valedictorian, I was cum laude. And then I came to America at an early age, like 20 years old, right? Being a holistic physical therapist. At that time, just a physical therapist, right? And then the holistic world opened up for me. And the point there is, when you're making a choice, sometimes as women, we multitask so much, and then we don't know, what do I really want? Because you have family, 4 children, right? 4 children, a husband, a business. And I also had work at that time. So I had to make a choice. Sometimes we have to make these difficult choices because that's the path to our sole purpose. And when we don't make a choice, what happens is life becomes more difficult, right? It becomes more impossible to live happily ever after. So I had to make that choice when I had that warning sign of a stroke, because that was eye-opening. So the thing is, we don't have to go through that kind of experience. We don't have to be super sick. We don't have to lose a loved one. We don't have to it's not always like that. It's not always a 2x4 warning. But if you had that, yep, you have to make a choice and say, what do I want in life now from this day forward? Because we're still in evolution, right? Like every one of us, sometimes we have to reinvent ourselves every single year, put another feather in our cap, and just evolve and just be wiser and be more, I guess, aware of our energy field, aware that the more we take care of ourselves, the more actually the right clients, the right people that want to hear our message come to us, because they're looking for maybe a role model, right? They're maybe looking for a way to change their life. And so I'm here for those female business owners that are really looking for a change, that transformation. Sometimes it takes one thing, but sometimes it just takes a little bit of a tweak and then they shift into that path and purpose.
Thanks for sharing that. And yeah, just hearing one person's story that they can relate to can make a huge difference in someone's life. And this is what it's all about, right? Sharing what's possible, sharing the things we've overcome, learning to make decisions, even though I know as an Asian woman, it's not always easy because we've never been taught to make our own decisions. But we got to boss up and do it, right? So I'm glad you're able to share that. And can you share one boss up tip for our listeners today?
One boss up tip is really, I do a lot of meditation and reflection in the morning and also at the end of the day. So when we begin our day with ease, grace, and flow, right? Like our mind, body, soul, spirit, they're all aligned and connected. You're feeling at peace or satisfied, you're just feeling more happy inside. Then you can actually do a lot of things. So that's what I realized after that TIA. I don't need to put like 10 things on my list, although I know a lot of the overachievers will probably question that. However, when you take care of you, everything else comes to you with ease, like everything. And then if you end your day like that as well, then it'll be a totally different day. So I think of a whole day as a lifetime, because you never know if you're going to wake up tomorrow or not. But if you can have a beginning and an end with, again, ease, grace, and flow, starting with a meditation, breath work, yoga, anything that makes you feel good so that you can set your day that way and you can end your day that way, it would be completely different. Just try it. Try it for the next 7 days and see how it changes your life.
Thanks for sharing that great tip. And it's so true, right? Like multitasking doesn't really help us. It actually hurts us. It ends up, we spend more time on things that actually doesn't really matter versus focusing on one thing at a time makes a huge difference. And I remember reading the book, That One Thing, that really changed the way how I see things and like what it meant to just focus on one thing. And it really just helps you out in the end. So thanks for sharing that. And Vivian, where can our listeners pre-order a copy of the book? Or if you have any other social media profiles or links you want to share today?
What I wanted to share is a free copy and a free clarity call of overwhelm911.com. So I have a book called Money Block. Basically, these are your secrets to getting to 6 or 7 figures with ease, grace, and flow. So if you go to overwhelm911.com, you can actually do a free clarity call with one of my team members so that we can see if we're a good fit to work together, or if you'd like to have a copy of our new book, Asian Women Who Boss Up.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Vivian, you can also head on over to thetaoofselfconfidence.com and search for Vivian's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And before I end, I actually really wanted to give a podcast shout out to Debbie, who is the host of The Offbeat Life. If you want to get tips on how to make online work more sustainable, check out the Offbeat Life podcast, where Debbie interviews travelers who left their 9-to-5 to become remote entrepreneurs. Visit theoffbeatlife.com to listen to her weekly episodes. And also, I just want to thank Vivian today for taking the time to share her wisdom and story. And I'm just excited for this book to come out, Asian Women Who Boss Up. So don't forget to pre-order your copy. And Vivian, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Not a problem. It was really great having you on the show. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another Asian Women Who Boss Up co-author who's going to share her wisdom and stories. So be on the lookout, and bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of The Tao of Self-Confidence. You can order your copy of Asian Women Who Boss Up book by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.